The sun had just begun to rise over the dusty village of Shapur when Aaliya, a 22-year-old farmer's daughter, rose from bed. Her small mud home sat between endless fields of wheat and corn where her father had labored for over 30 years. They didn't have much, just enough to get by, enough to stay hopeful, but Aaliya carried something rare inside her: fierce intelligence, quiet resilience, and an unshakable dream, as she filled water from the hand pump and prepared breakfast. For her father, Rahmat, her mind wasn't on chores. It was on the email she had received late last night, an invitation to interview for a position at Titan Tech, one of the most prestigious technology companies in the country. The very thought felt surreal, she had applied on a whim, encouraged by her college professor who saw potential in her sharp mind and sincere effort. Despite coming from a rural background with limited resources, Aaliya had graduated at the top of her computer science class in a government college. While others had expensive laptops and coaching, Aaliya had borrowed books, used broken second-hand devices, and walked miles to find internet cafes, she never told her father much about. The job application. He supported her education, but with worry in his heart. He feared a cruel world outside their village might never truly open its doors for someone like his daughter. And yet, as she dressed in her simple white shalwar kameez and adjusted her dupatta, she looked not afraid but determined. Aaliya's journey to the city was long and uncomfortable. She clutched her folder of documents on the bus ride, replaying every coding concept, every theory, every sample question she could remember. The city rose before her like a jungle of steel and glass, intimidating and unfamiliar. Her interview was scheduled at the headquarters of Titan Tech, a gleaming 20-story building with reflective windows and guards at every door. She stepped inside, her humble sandals clicking against the marble floors, ignored by the receptionists and suited professionals who glanced at her once, then looked away. But she waited her turn, heart pounding. When she was finally called in, she stepped into a large, glass-walled room. Inside sat a panel of executives, and at the head the man himself, Azan Khalid, CEO of Titan Tech. Known across the country for his cutthroat business acumen and unapologetic arrogance. Azan had no patience for mediocrity, he eyed Aaliya with a smirk, immediately dismissing her presence with his posture alone. He leaned back in his chair and crossed his arms, looking at her with amusement. Let me guess, he said coldly. You're here by mistake? We don't have a support staff interview today. The room chuckled. Aaliya did not flinch. Her eyes met his. No, sir, she said softly. I'm here for the AI development internship. He raised an eyebrow, clearly amused by what he considered bold ignorance. What's your background? I come from Shapur village, she replied. Graduated top of my class in computer science. A village girl applying for an AI internship, he muttered under his breath, then spoke louder. All right. Then let's not waste time. The next hour turned into a gauntlet. He hurled technical questions, algorithm problems, data structure logic at her in rapid fire. He spoke fast, challenged her answers, cut her off mid-sentence, and gave her little time to breathe. But Aaliya didn't crumble. She answered every question calmly, citing textbook logic with precision and also offering creative solutions from her own personal experimentation with open-source software and self-built models. When Azan threw in a trick question about quantum computing just to watch her stumble, she responded not with a solution, but with a bold question of her own. Is this interview about testing memory or testing mindset, sir? The room fell silent. Azan narrowed his eyes. She continued. Because if it's about memorizing terms, I can do that. But if it's about building something new, I'd rather show you the AI irrigation model I developed for my father's farm. Using nothing but Arduino and free cloud APIS? That caught everyone's attention. You did what? One of the managers asked, now intrigued. Aaliya opened her folder and placed a few sheets on the table. I created a smart water monitoring system to detect soil moisture and water levels and alert us through SMS so we wouldn't overwater or waste electricity from our tube well. It helped cut our water use by 40% during the dry season. Asterisk, the executives leaned in, asterisk, but Azan didn't budge. Impressive, he said dryly, but this is the real world, not a science fair. You think that little device qualifies you to work here? Asterisk, no, she said without blinking. But my ability to solve problems with no budget, no infrastructure, and no guidance might. For the first time, Azan didn't have a retort. He leaned forward, resting his elbows on the desk. You know, he said slowly, you remind me of myself, except I had money and resources. You had nothing. Asterisk, exactly, she said. And yet, I'm sitting across from you now. A hushed silence fell again. The interview ended shortly after. They thanked her. She left the building not knowing what would happen, but proud that she stood her ground. Asterisk, 3 days passed, no call, no email. She convinced herself they had moved on, asterisk, but on the fourth morning, her father came running into the house with a letter in hand. It's from the company, he shouted, breathless, asterisk. She opened it slowly, her hands trembling. It read, asterisk, we are pleased to offer you a full internship with stipend and housing at Titan Tech. You have qualities we cannot ignore. Asterisk, she cried, holding the letter close to her chest, then ran to her father and hugged him. He didn't speak, he just kissed her forehead. Asterisk, when she returned to Titan Tech, the environment had changed. People now greeted her with respect. She met with the development team, worked late hours, and built AI models that amazed even senior engineers, asterisk. But her biggest moment came when the company prepared to launch a rural initiative for smart agriculture. Azan himself requested Aaliya to lead the pilot design, asterisk, during the launch presentation. In front of government officials, investors, and industry experts, Aaliya stood on stage and said, asterisk, I'm not here despite my background, I'm here because of it. When you come from the soil, you know how to build from the ground up. We don't need charity, we need opportunity. And I'm grateful I got mine. The audience gave her a standing ovation. After the presentation, Azan approached her and said something no one had expected. Asterisk, I was wrong about you, he admitted. You didn't just pass my test. You turned it into something I couldn't have imagined, asterisk, she smiled. Maybe the problem wasn't me. Maybe the test was wrong, asterisk, he chuckled, humbled. Keep proving us wrong, Aaliya. Asterisk, over the next few years, Aaliya grew into one of the most respected names in AI for sustainable farming. She built systems that reached thousands of farmers. She trained village girls in coding, opened tech centers in rural areas, and created a scholarship program named after her mother, asterisk. But she never moved to the city permanently, asterisk, she built a house next to her father's fields with solar panels and high-speed internet. Every evening she'd sit beside him on the Sharpai, watching the wheat sway, sipping chai, and talking about data science in Urdu, asterisk, and whenever someone asked her how she made it, she simply replied, asterisk, I believed in myself when no one else did. And I never let the noise of the world drown out the voice inside me. Moral. True intelligence is not about privilege, it's about persistence. Never let someone's title or tone make you feel small. Because strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it grows silently, deep in the soil, like the daughter of a farmer waiting for her time to bloom. Asterisk.